Very good morning to all of you. Today I want to start new module of module 4 of session 1. Title of the module 4 is given here, that is bearing capacity of shallow foundation. For this bearing capacity of shallow foundation, course outcome is summarized here, that is ability to determine bearing capacity of soil and achieve proficiency in proportioning shallow isolated and combined footings for uniform bearing pressure. This is the most important course outcome of this module 4. Title of the subject is Applied Geotechnical Engineering and subject code is 18CV62, which comes in 6th semester of Civil Engineering Department. Now, these are the contents are prepared to explain session 1 of bearing capacity of shallow foundations. First one is bearing capacity, second one is foundation, third one is depth of footing. In depth of footing, definition of bearing capacity, net pressure or net loading intensity definition, ultimate bearing capacity, net ultimate bearing capacity, net safe bearing capacity, safe bearing capacity, Rankins analysis, Terzgy's analysis, types of shear failures, general shear failure, local shear failure, punching shear failure. These are the contents are required to cover today's session 1. Okay, so these are the basic concept of to determine safe bearing capacity of the foundations. Let us see. This is the concept about foundation. This slide is explained purely for foundation meaning. A foundation is the lower part of a structure that transmits the loads to the soil or rock. It may be direct bearing foundation or a pile foundations. It may be direct bearing foundation or a pile foundation. A direct bearing foundation constructed as a special under the base of a wall or a column for the purpose of distributing the load is called a footing. Okay, I will explain once again. A direct bearing foundation constructed as a special under the base of a wall or a column for the purpose of distributing the load is called a footing. A footing used for the support and distribution of an individual load is called the pad footing. A footing used for the support and distribution of an individual load is called the pad footing. When two or more footings are joined to form a small mat, they are termed combined footing. When two or more footings are joined to form a small mat, they are termed combined footing. As shown in figure 4.1, below. Okay, see these slides are explained for different types of footings. This sketch is explained for isolated footings. Okay, this sketch, this is ground level, this is footing, this is RCC bed, this is PCC bed, and width of the footing is B, and depth of the foundation is DF, and this is PC plain cement concrete, this is reinforced cement concrete. Okay, this is the plan. This is called isolated footing. Now see, this sketch is explained for combined footings. Okay, this is one footing and this is one footing. This plus this is, we are design together and we are constructing together. This footing is called as a combined footings. Okay, at a depth of DF and width is B. Total two footings, total width is B, including offsets. Okay, this is the plan in the combined footing plans. See this figure C. So this is the foundation depth, this is ground levels, and this is width of the foundations, and these are the stepped footings. Okay, this is PCC bed, first foot step, second step, third step. Okay, and we are considering this is depth of the foundations. Okay, so this is called as a strip or continuous footing. This type of footing we are defining as a strip or continuous footings. See this figure D. This is length of the footing building, and this is width of the buildings. Okay, in that we are constructing as a raft or combined footings. Okay, see these are the different type of columns at a interval. Okay, another line of columns we are constructing here, and this type of footings we are defined as a raft. Okay, when a footing supports a single column, it is called isolated footing or a pad, as shown in figure above A. That is, when D is greater than B, we are defining as a isolated footing. When it supports two or more than two column, when it supports two or more than two column, it is a combined footings. A footing which supports a wall is called a strip footing or a continuous footing. A footing is a large single slab supporting the entire structure as a whole. Let us see depth of footing. What do you mean by depth of footing? The vertical distance between the base of the footing and the ground surface is called the depth of the footing, df. The vertical distance between the base of the footing and the ground surface is called the depth of the footings. When d is less than b is called a shallow footing. When d by b ratio is greater than 15 is called deep foundations. When depth of the footing to the width of the footing is greater than 1 but is less than 15 is called moderately deep foundations. Shallow foundations are two types. One is footings, second one is rafts. Shallow foundations are constructed by footings and rafts. Deep foundations are examples: trench, pier, cylinder, caisson, well, and pile foundations. These are comes under deep foundations. Deep foundations are trench, pier, cylinder, caisson, well, and pile foundations. So these are the examples of deep foundation. Let us see definition of bearing capacity, or what do you mean by bearing capacity? The supporting power of a soil or rock is referred to its bearing capacity. The supporting power of a soil or a rock is referred to its bearing capacity, and its unit of bearing capacity considered in kilonewton per meter square or ton per meter square. Next, definition of net pressure or net loading intensity. It is denoted by Qn. The excess pressure or the difference in intensity of the gross effective pressure after the construction of the structure and of the original overburden pressure is known as the net pressure or the net loading intensity, and it is expressed in terms of kilonewton per meter square or ton per meter square. So this is the definition of net pressure or net loading intensity. Next definition is ultimate bearing capacity. What do you mean by ultimate bearing capacity? It is denoted by QU. The minimum gross pressure intensity at the base of the foundation at which the soil fails in shear is called the ultimate bearing capacity, and it's located in terms of QU, and it expressed in terms of kilonewton per meter square or ton per meter square. This is the definition of ultimate bearing capacity. Next definition is ultimate bearing ultimate bearing capacity. Okay, ultimate bearing capacity. Net ultimate bearing capacity, QNU. The minimum net pressure intensity causing shear failure of soil is called the net ultimate bearing capacity. Okay, the minimum net pressure intensity causing shear failure of soil is called the net ultimate bearing capacity, and it is denoted by QNF, and it is expressed in terms of kilonewton per meter square or ton per meter square, and it can be calculated, that is QNV equal to QF minus gamma into TF, that is ultimate bearing capacity minus effective overburden pressures. Net safe bearing capacity definitions. What do you mean by net safe bearing capacity? It is denoted by QNS. The ultimate bearing capacity divided by the desired factor of safety F is called the net safe bearing capacity. Okay, it is defined as the net ultimate bearing capacity divided by the factor of safety F is called the net safe bearing capacity, and it is denoted by the symbol QNS, and it is given by the equation QNS equal to QNU by F, and its unit is kilonewton per meter square, or it's expressed in ton per meter square also. What do you mean by safe bearing capacity? That is SBC. What do you mean by safe bearing capacity or SBC? Its symbol is QS. The maximum pressure which the soil can carry safely without risk of shear failure. Okay, the maximum pressure which the soil can carry safety without risk of shear failure is called the safe bearing capacity. Okay, this is the most important concept or meaning or definition. The maximum pressure which the soil can carry safety without a risk of shear failure is called the safe bearing capacity, and it's expressed in terms of kilonewton per meter square or ton per meter square. Mathematically it is given by Qs equal to Qnu by factor of safety plus gamma into Tf. So this is the definition of safe bearing capacity. Okay, you calculate any type of soils you have collected from the sites and tested in the laboratory, and you determine shear strength parameters, then you check safe bearing capacity to decide the size and length and breadth of the footings based on this SBC of soils to construct structures. Rankins analysis. Rankins analysis. What do you mean by Rankins analysis? How he has explains to determine minimum depth of the foundations to be excavated in the field. According to the Rankins analysis, if Q is the intensity of loading, the minimum depth of foundation, that is D minimum, is given as D minimum equal to Q by gamma into 1 minus sin phi by 1 plus sin phi. This is equation 4. According to Rankins analysis, the empirical equation is given. Minimum depth of footing is given by Q by gamma times 1 minus sin phi by 1 plus sin phi, where Q is the load intensity in kilonewton per meter square, that is the structural loads, that is the total building loads expressed in terms of kilonewton per meter square, that is Q, and D is the depth of the foundation in meters. D minimum is the depth of the foundation in meters, and gamma is the unit weight of soil or material in kilonewton per cubic meters. Gamma is the unit weight of soil or density of soils or material, and it is expressed in terms of kilonewton per meter square. And here phi is the angle of internal frictions. Phi is the angle of internal friction of soils. So this is the equation is used directly for minimum depth of footing is required. After knowing the angle of internal friction of soil, total structural load and unit weight of the soils. Next, let us see Terzaghi analysis. Terzaghi analysis. He has explained in details how ultimate bearing capacity is calculated and how that foundation is failure takes place in terms of shear concepts. Okay, see here, this is the diagrams, this is ground levels, this is width of the footing, this is depth of the footing, and these are the structural loads acted at the base of the footings. And see, this is the footing base line. Due to structural loads, how that foundation is developed in terms of shear. See this diagram. So this is a triangular concept, this is the portion 1, and see these lines are failure takes place. Okay, so this we are locating as a zone 2, and this we are considering as a radial shears, and these beyond this, so we are considering this as a line shears. So these are called as a line shear, and these we are defining as a radial shears towards left side. Now come towards the right side also. Same concept is coming here. So this is radial shear is developed, and these are the line shears are developed, and these lines are acting at an angle of 45 plus 5 by 2. Shear is developed at an angle of 45 plus 5 by 2. Here phi is the angle of internal friction outside. So this is the concept of Terzaghi's analysis to calculate bearing capacity. Okay. So Terzaghi determined the ultimate bearing capacity of soil under a uniformly loaded strip footing. Okay. He has considered ultimate bearing capacity of soil under a uniformly loaded strip footing to calculate given soil load, knowing width of footing, depth of footings. Next, the assumptions involved in the analysis and its salient features are as follows. Okay, Terzaghi has assumed some points and some salient features to determine ultimate bearing capacity for the given soil samples. Okay, so these are the assumptions, 5 assumptions. First assumption is the base of the footing is rough. So footing is always, that footing base is always required rough. The base of the footing is rough. Second assumption, when the footing is not located on the surface, when the footing is not located on the surface and is located at a depth df from below the ground surface, so then Terzaghi's analysis is considered. When the footing is not located on the surface and is located at a depth df from below the ground surface, so then Terzaghi's used equations. And third assumptions of Terzaghi, the footing is shallow. According to Terzaghi, the footing should be shallow. That is, depth of the footing is less than or equal to width of the footing. So then he has considered as a shallow footings. Fourth assumption is the footing is continuous. According to Terzaghi, the footing is continuous. That is the concept of assumptions of Terzaghi's. Fifth assumptions of Terzaghi's is the soil is homogeneous as well as isotropic. The soil is homogeneous as well as isotropic. That is the Terzaghi's concepts. Next, types of shear failures. Let us see based on shear failure explanations. There are generally 3 types of shear failures occurs in foundations due to structural loads. One is general shear failure, second one is local shear failure, third one is punching shear failure. These are the 3 types of shear failures are occurred in the foundations. Let us see each definition of or concept of failures. First one, I want to explain about general shear failure based on the above diagram, that is Terzaghi's figures. In the case of general shear failure, continuous shear develop between the edges of the footing and the ground surface. That is the meaning of general shear failure. In the case of general shear failure, continuous shear develop between the edges of the footing and the ground surface as shown in figure above 4.2. In general, shear failure, the soil resists the local with a small settlement until suddenly the soil fails. This type of failure mostly occurs in stiff clays or dense sands of low compressibility. Where it occurs, this general shear failure in stiff clays or dense sands of a low compressibility. And if angle of internal friction is greater than or equal to 38 degree, we are considering as a general shear failure if the phi value is. Next, definition of local shear failure. What do you mean by local shear failure? In the case of local shear failure, there is a significant compression of the soil under the footing. There is a significant compression of the soil under the footing, and the plastic equilibrium develops only in part of the soil below the footing. Is defined as local shear failure. This type of failure mostly occurs in loose or soft soils of high compressibility. This type of failure mostly occurs in loose or soft soils of high compressibility. There is a considerable vertical soil movement before the soil fails. There is a considerable vertical soil movement before the soil fails. Okay. A local shear failure generally occurs phi is less than or equal to 28 degree. Okay. We are considering based on the angle of internal friction whether it is local shear failure or general shear failure. For it, the following strength parameters are recommended. Local shear failure, that is CLS equal to 2/3 of C and phi LS equal to 2/3 of phi. If you want to calculate the local shear failure, you know the shear strength parameter, then you multiply 2/3 of original shear strength parameter, we are getting local shear failure, where C LS and phi LS are cohesion and angle of internal friction for local shear failure condition, and C phi are strength parameter obtained from shear strength parameter experiments. Here, punching shear failures. What do you mean by punching shear failure? This is also most important failures occurs in the foundations. The punching shear failure occurs when there is a compression of the soil under the footing accompanied by shearing in the vertical direction around the edges of the footing as shown above figures. Okay, punching shear failure means when the building load is acting downward and soil load is acting upwards, so that punching shear is developed. This type of failure generally does not occur in shallow footings and occurs in soils of low compressibility when footings are considerably deep. When punching shear is occurred, if the foundation is deep, if the low compressibility, punching shear failure takes place. The width to depth ratio, that is B by dF, is thus quite important for such a failures. So that's why punching shear failure is also most important concepts. So these are the references are referred for session 1 of module 4. Okay, thank you one and all. Okay, next class I will be continue